Rock City and Ruby Falls are fun, but have you been down the Ocoee, camped at Harrison Bay, or on top of Fort Mountain? We are blessed with beautiful adventures all around us. And Honda Cleveland has the Honda to take you there. Hurry in for $5,000 off your choice of 25 Accord or CRV Hybrid. $5,000 off. Or choose 2.99% financing on Accord and CRV Hybrid. Either way, you'll see why KBB.com has named Honda America's best value brand. You can saddle up a new Ridgeline pickup too with financing as low as 0.99% for 60 months, and that'll save you hundreds in financing. Or if you need service, parts, and tires, at Honda Cleveland you can get the work done now and pay over time with up to 3 months interest-free, with no hard credit check and a 90% approval rate. You've got some exploring to do, and we've got your ticket to ride. Honda Cleveland, your car, your way, every day. I-75 exit 20, 1 mile east. Hope to see you soon.
When life gets busy, Little Caesars can be there to help with hot and ready pizzas and more from 4 to 8 p.m. You can't beat the taste of delicious pizza at a great price and hot and ready for dinner. 3 locations, Paul Huff, Key Street, and McGrady Drive, or order online.
Hey, Andy Morris here. Join me along with my co-host on The Drive, presented by Hardees, weekdays at 5 p.m. on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, Cleveland and Bradley County's local sports show, weekdays at 5 on ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
From the Kia of Cleveland Studios, this is ESPN Cleveland 101.3, WCLE HD2 Cleveland, W267BI Cleveland, ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
The top of the hour is presented by Best Buy Metals, making the top of your house the best it can be. Visit bestbuymetalroofing.com.
It's time for The Drive on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, presented by Hardees. We will bring you nonstop sports news from the national and local scene and everything in between. So buckle up and join in on the conversation. It's The Drive.
Don't take no style. Got a thirst for killing. Live your body.
Welcome back to The Drive here on ESPN Cleveland on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Andy Morris here along with Jim Gum, Jacob Mason. Guys, I tell you what, I feel good today because for the first time in a while, before I came into the studio. So Jacob and I, Jim, have had a lot going on. He had to rush up. We had to film a little coach's show with Drew Akins, who, by the way, is going to join our show here around 5:35, 5:40. Call in, talk Walker Valley football. It's Walker Valley football Tuesday here on The Drive. Of course, yesterday we had Chris Brown, head coach of the Blue Raiders, on Raider Monday.
Right.
And you can also expect Damon Floyd on Thursdays. But to avoid the confusion, today is Walker Valley Day. Drew Akins joining the show a little bit later on, so be sure to tune in for that. But, we filmed Coach Akins' coach's show that we filmed going into the game week that the audio will air before the game and stuff. Of course, you guys are calling the game Thursday. And so Jacob did a good job, hustled up there. We got a good little 15-minute coach's show filmed and in. And then I had to go to practice, went over to wrestling practice. I got a 20-minute bike ride in, stationary bike. I've not done that in a while. The knee felt okay. It's been flared up a little bit here recently, but the bike ride kind of made it feel a little bit better.
Well, good for you, man. How about that? You're back to being your normal, almost back to being your normal self again, except that you've had one extra birthday, right, since last year. So
telling you.
It's amazing when those birthdays add up. Things just seem to get more and more difficult. We're blessed. I'm blessed with a lot of birthdays, okay? But, man, some days I feel it. I feel like all those birthdays
feel
are
it in your
piled up.
bones.
I do, man.
That's where I'm at. I'm at that age now where I feel like I can say it like seriously for the first time. Like I feel like I'm getting older. And when you suffer an injury, of course, we know injuries are a big part of sports. We've seen it more now than ever in Major League Baseball. A lot of injuries going on there. Our guy Ronald Acuna, thank goodness, is back, but he's been just absolutely riddled with injuries throughout his career. So,
yeah, I feel like we're seeing injuries like even at a younger age, and I think it's just because kids are getting faster, bigger, and stronger at a younger age, and that kind of comes with it. But I did comment on Andy today. I said, man, you look like you're walking pretty good today. So getting back into the swing of things. Football is upon us, boys. Like front door attack, knock knock, like it's here. Like I cannot wait I've been thinking about Thursday for about 2 weeks now, and then we're going to turn around and we're going to do the show at Bradley High School on Friday, and then college football's here and the NFL is here, and I'm just ready. I'm ready for the hot to not be like on my mind, and all I can think about is, well, what happened on Friday night, or how did my team do this Saturday, or something like that. Because right now all I can think of is every time I step outdoors, I'm like drenched in a puddle of sweat.
Mixed Morning, by the way, in case you're wondering, will originate from Cleveland on Thursday, and we're excited to see Bridget and Steve out there. So, when they're out there doing the Mixed Mornings live on location at Benny Monroe Stadium, we know football is officially here. So excited about everything that's going down on Thursday, and of course then Friday right behind it. It's just an ongoing thing after that.
And I want to give a shout out to Austin and Gideon and those guys that set up those live broadcasts. They're there before the sun's up.
They are, man.
Making sure things are organized, set up properly, ready to go. And one thing that I think is really funny, athletic director Cleveland High School Al Morris happens to be big brother over here. He's got to be there even earlier to make sure everyone's able to set up it. So he's getting up a little bit earlier tomorrow for that.
Well, but it's fun though.
It's
man.
worth it. It is worth it.
It's a long day. Thursday's a long day. Fridays could be a long day. But man, it's all worth it because you don't work football. You play football. It's a game, and people are excited.
It's a way of life.
Everyone's undefeated. Everyone has expectations. You've got this. These ideas of what we can do if we play to our potential. And so it's so much excitement and anticipation. That's what I love about the opening weekend of high school, college, NFL. Everyone's got all these expectations, and you feel really good about yourself.
Well, we know that the atmosphere over there, Jacob, pregame concert, 5:30, gates open at Benny Monroe Stadium, 5:30 again for the ESPN community kickoff, ESPN Cleveland 101.3 community kickoff, that is. And, of course, that's Walker Valley at Cleveland High School's Benny Monroe Stadium. But the atmosphere at Cleveland with the concert and the tailgating and everything, it really is. It's a neat little vibe, and Jacob really had a good perspective on it last year when we covered it and talked about it.
Yeah, to me, every school does something really, really well. They all have something about their in-game environment that they do really well. One thing, we cover Walker Valley, the band can legitimately take over a drive and stop things from happening. We've watched it happen over and over again when people come and visit and they get in that end zone and that band starts going, they can't hear anything. Bradley's venue, to me, is probably one of the prettiest, most historic venues in the state that I have traveled to.
For sure, one of the most unique, being down in the pit
walking down into the bowl, that makes me feel like high school football is here. It's one of the most iconic venues. Cleveland High School puts on the best show out of any of the schools that I've been to. Maybe Upperman. Upperman threw some really neat things at us when we went there. But Cleveland High School's atmosphere on game day, to me, is not matched pregame. The pregame stuff that they've got going out in the parking lot and the community involvement and all that stuff, they do such a great job. All of our schools do things really, really well. And it's something that I love about our town is they focus on things that they're really good at and they make them elite, and they become really great at them. And Cleveland's, which we're going to get to experience on Thursday night, is hosting an event, and so we're excited to go there and excited to call the game.
And they're having a tailgate as well. Chef Montgomery, the culinary arts teacher at Cleveland High School, good friend of mine, go back a long ways, was a pretty good wrestler back in his day too. But the big boy knows how to eat, and he knows how to cook. So I'm going to throw that out there. He's doing a great thing with his class, the culinary arts class, providing that tailgating meal, $15. That's not a bad deal for a good meal from that crew over there. So just so much going on that really gives you that football pregame vibe.
Tailgating is not something that used to take place at high school games. It's gone on forever at NFL and college venues, but it's a I'm not going to say new, but it has always been the case at high school. So I love that. And you talk about the venues, and I'll say something about Bradley Central's. The thing I love about Bradley, there's no track. So the stands are closer to the field. The front row at Bear Stadium
You're
is
on the action.
really close to the sidelines. So the fans are closer there than anywhere else, and I love that. I think that atmosphere there is spectacular. There were, 15, 20 years ago, they talked about adding some permanent seating along that end zone berm. They just never have done that, and I don't know if that's even been talked about recently. But at one time, that place would be packed and people would be sitting on that grass. Now that hasn't been the case in the last 6, 7, 8 years. But I always wondered if that's ever going to happen. But,
I've got a pitch. I've got a pitch for that. You do it and you enclose it. You got the student section on the left. You got the band on the right. The Bears walk down between them on the staircase, and it's just like an enclosed. Then the fans are on their side, Ways on their side. To me, that would make an already incredibly iconic venue like that much sweeter to me.
The Bear Walk in itself is already so unique compared to what most people do. I remember back during the Marty Wild days at Bradley when he was a head coach, they got away.
Name from the past.
It is, isn't it? So they got away from the Bear Walk and started going down the back way, that back road, the back entrance, and they were escorted down by police cars with the lights on, which was neat. It was different, but there's something. When you can hear those cleats on that concrete coming down those stairs, and now they've got all the signage up over there at Bradley. I tell you what, we really do have three of the better environments when it comes to being able to host a football game. Jake was alluding to Walker Valley's band, the experience that they provide. Jim, I know you weren't there, but you've probably heard us talk about this. But there was a playoff game a couple of years ago. It's probably more than probably 3 years ago. Time's flying by us here. But number one, Powell came into town and got upset by Walker Valley because at the very end of the game, they just added the seating for the band in the back of the end zone. The student section had just moved to that end of the field, and the band was playing the student section. Everyone was on their feet and screaming and loud, and so much so that it had a college football atmosphere effect. The quarterback was looking at his sidelines, the Powell quarterback, pointing to his ears, I can't hear. And where do you see that in high school football? That's very rare.
Yeah, of course. Now, I don't want anyone to take this wrong, what I'm about to say. I don't think that should be allowed. That a band should not be allowed to be playing while the opponent is trying to call plays. In college, it's against the rules. They can actually penalize.
Yeah.
A college band is not allowed to do that. In high school, they'll do it. And, man, they'll ramp it up. They will ramp it up. And I'm like, that's a competitive disadvantage to
that's home field advantage, baby.
Get a bigger band. Get more fans. To me, I love it. I think every school in this town has the ability to have a large band and have a large band program. And if they want to do the same, more power to you. I think it's awesome. I think it drives student engagement, and I think it adds another layer to the game that
sportsmanship is where I'm going.
Jim, do you remember where? Well, again, home and home, it's an advantage for the home team. Whoever has that, that's part of the home field advantage, in my opinion. But you can probably reference the exact game I'm talking about. Do you remember when it was a penalty in college football if your fans cheered too loud?
Yes, I do, and that was ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous.
That was ridiculous, but the band wasn't a part of it. It wasn't artificial sound. It was from the fans and their voices.
Just screaming.
And that's why these days you've got so many plays that they're signaled, and then sometimes they'll get the quarterback will clap, instead of actually barking out the signals. But even then, sometimes it's hard to hear that clap.
But what's the difference than fans bringing bells?
Mississippi State is not allowed to ring.
I know, but in high school they still do it.
Right, I know.
You've got high school kids that put rocks in bottles. Cleveland on the front of their student section now has those big barrels that they can bang.
I'll be honest with you, I think artificial noisemakers should be. You should not be allowed to do it while the other team's trying to call a play. It includes the band. It includes cowbells, whatever.
Well,
I just don't. I think you should be able to yell with your voice, but you should not be able to use artificial noisemaking.
I think when you're talking professional college, I'm on board with that because you're talking sometimes north of 100,000 fans, depending on what venue you're at, what team you're talking about, what venue that you're at. But when it comes to high school football, on a good night, how many thousand fans are there?
Six to 8,000.
A handful.
At Bradley and Cleveland and Walker Valley, you're probably looking 5,000, 6,000, somewhere around there.
So my point is, what that does at that level, it adds to the atmosphere. It adds to the experience. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, we agree to disagree.
It's a lot of fun.
I will say this: I have snapped a Vuvuzuela over my knee in a student section because somebody kept on blowing it in my ear, and I turned around and looked at him. I said, "You blow that in my ear one more time, it's getting snapped in half." And it came, and I snapped it in half and threw it onto the track.
As we know at Cleveland over there at Benny Monroe Stadium, sometimes you need more cowbell. You remember that last year?
Yeah.
Cleveland's got a little thing on the Jumbotron now where Will Ferrell pops up.
It's just a Saturday night.
It says, we need more cowbell. And, like, Cleveland gives cowbells to their student section.
Yeah,
It's so cool.
I know they do.
I used to, when I first started coaching and I was watching my brother-in-law play at Bradley, one of the things I said is, like, the Bradley Bells would be awesome. Like, as a fundraiser for the football program, like, to sell and do, and then to see, like, Cleveland do, like, I just, to me, high school is about community. It's about environment. It's about having fun. And those things add to that.
Okay, and I'll throw one more. It's all about sportsmanship too, and to me, that's a lack of. I know what's going to happen on Thursday night. Walker Valley's band is going to be blaring so loud that Cleveland's going to have a hard time calling play. They just will. That's just a fact. I don't think that. I think they should be told that you can't do it while they're playing calls, making the call. Pipe it down and then blare it up again as soon as the play's called.
I wonder if our guy Mark Smith is listening. Of course, Mark is an official. I want to know if there is any type of rule regarding noise.
Not in high school. I don't think there is.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I don't think there is.
Also, I'll say this though: I'd rather somebody be shaking a bell than yelling obscene things.
Yeah,
from the
absolutely,
Well, of course.
absolutely.
We all agree there.
So I guess you're more so coming from the band perspective,
Yes.
but like but as a whole, you're against like shakers, bells.
Something to me to where the offense has a difficult time communicating. I get it. At Neyland Stadium, 100,000.
So you can't stop your feet on an aluminum.
Well, no, that I guess that's that's a gray area there. I never even thought about that because aluminum stands are going to reverberate more than concrete stands are. At Bear Stadium, they're concrete.
Yep.
There is no the bleachers themselves are aluminum, but you're standing on the concrete. At Cleveland on the
away side now.
They're aluminum and they will make a loud noise if you do that. Yeah. So that I don't know. I hadn't thought about that one. Stop embarrassing me here now, Jacob.
Do you know what this segment tells me?
I'm an old man. Get off my lawn.
Jim wants us off his lawn, but we've got 3 really great environments.
We do, for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, man. And what's funny is we get to watch them like super early. I know if you're just joining us on the show or maybe you're a first-time listener, you in the first 3 weeks of high school football are going to be absolutely spoiled as Walker Valley takes on Cleveland. You've got Bradley taking on McMinn, the second oldest rivalry in Tennessee. Then you get turned around and you've got Walker Valley and Bradley. You've got Cleveland and McMinn. There's all kinds of games that are going to be happening in these first 3 weeks, and you don't want to miss a second of it.
And the good thing is, just right off of Jacob's cue there, you can catch all that action with the exclusive home of ESPN Radio in Cleveland and Chattanooga, the app. The ESPN Cleveland 1013 app. It's never been easier to listen. You can download the app from our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com. And again, full coverage here at the sister stations, WCLE. Cleveland's Oldies 99.1 Thursday is going to be carrying the Walker Valley broadcast with Jacob and Jim. Mm-hmm. It's also going to be broadcast over on Mix 104.1, and then you can catch Terry and Greg in the Cleveland broadcast, on Mix 104.1, and ESPN is also going to have Walker Valley. So I mixed those up. Mix is Cleveland.
MixTV.tv
yes.
as well.
So just complete coverage. But between you guys and Terry and Greg, you can get your perspective of whoever you're pulling for, or if you just want to listen to a couple guys rant and rave and carry on and act like they don't know where they're at, you can watch Mix TV and watch Shelton and Steve.
So if you want to hear Walker Valley and the word we, then you tune in us. If you want to hear we with Cleveland High School, you turn it on to 104.1, right?
That's right. Hey, can I tell you something I'm really proud of? And this is just as much Jacob as it is me when we do games together. And I think I've got a feeling this is going to be a dangerous little combo that we got here, Jim and Jacob. Thursday night. I think you guys are going to do a good job. But one thing that we get told a lot from people that listen to the Walker Valley games is specifically from Walker Valley fans, hey, we appreciate your honesty. You're not homers.
No, you got to tell how it is.
And that's one thing. Like Jacob and I both will call a spade, and I've heard you do games before. You're the same way.
That's
so
right.
That's one thing that across the board is an expectation here at our stations, and whoever you tune into and whoever you listen to, you're going to get a good broadcast and a good coverage.
Yeah, I feel like our listeners don't know how spoiled they are. We travel, we see, we hear. The three groups that we have covering high school football are some of the best in the entire state that do what they do, and they know the kids. I think that's
the key.
I think that's the biggest thing is, with me being at the middle school, Andy being at the high school, and then Gary is Bradley football. In my head, I can't think of another person that represents Bradley High School like Gary does. Terry and Scott have been around the program forever. They know the kids that are walking through the halls and through the buildings and have relationships with them. You are very, very blessed to have people that love the schools that they cover and give you a really good product on Friday nights.
And the fact that all these kids, they all know each other, and that makes it that much more fun. And let's be honest, man, there's been a lot of transferring from one to the next. So that's going to be, to me, that adds another level to these games coming up the first couple weeks.
I know. When we did the interview with Coach Akins today, we were talking about people who are going to be starting on which side of the ball, and names I didn't recognize. It's just because I didn't call them, all year long, and they had been on another roster. And so it's going to be really interesting with the turnover. And like I said, I just talked about how it's nice knowing the kids that walk through the hall, but that's the nature of the beast. There's going to be some kids that you see that are newcomers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Jacob, as you talked about that interview we did with Coach Akins, Coach Akins is very excited. You know why, Jim? Because he's already done one interview with Jacob and I today that's going to air on Thursday, and he gets to do another one live right here with us again. So we're going to have to let you kind of take the reins on this one and ask some different questions because.
Well, how would I know? I don't know the questions you asked him today, so I may ask them the same ones.
You've got good stuff. You'll pull something out of the back pocket. We're leaning on you on this one again. Walker Valley head football coach Drew Akins will be joining the show around 5:35. 5:40, so be sure to tune in for that. With that, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we got to talk a little bit of college football, some starting quarterbacks all over the place getting named.
Auburn national champs for 3 different times
Can you
today.
believe it? So they're taking a page out of the people across the state there, claiming some titles that don't necessarily belong to them. We'll talk about that all when we come back right here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
Hardees is hiring. Join the Star Team. Flexible scheduling, daily pay, free meals, 20% family discount, plus paid vacation for part-time and full-time employees. Apply in-store or online at hardees.com today.
When competition is fierce, sports injuries happen, and Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics is here to help. Saturday sports clinics are available at our Chattanooga and Cleveland offices from August 23rd through November 8th for the treatment of non-emergency orthopedic injuries like sprains, strains, and fractures. Doors open at 9 a.m., no appointment needed to be seen by our highly trained physicians and clinical staff. Saturday sports clinic dates are subject to change. Check sportmed.com for the latest information. That's sportmed.com.
Get ready for the ESPN Cleveland 101.3 College Football Kickoff, presented by USS. Saturday, August 30th, the Georgia Bulldogs take on Marshall to get the 2025 season officially underway. We'll have all the action on your home of the Dogs. ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Plus, USS is giving away a college football kickoff prize pack. For all the details and your chance to register, visit myespncleveland1013.com.
City School Magazine 2025 High School Football Collectors Edition. Your inside look at 41 teams. Team profiles, coaches' comments, stats, schedules, rosters, and game day pictures. See legendary teams, football fanatic families, and a lot more. Look for the Golden Football. Win $500 for your school. $500 for your school. Purchase a copy from your school booster clubs. All proceeds go to schools. City School Magazine High School Football Collectors Edition. Don't miss it. Help support your school.
For a quarter of a century, Mix 1041 has been taking you out to the ball games.
Swanson to first. The Braves are world champions.
Since 2000, Mix 1041 has been the home of the Atlanta Braves, and we're celebrating by giving away tickets to Atlanta Braves games all summer long. Listen for your chance to call or text to qualify. You can also register at the Mix socials on Facebook and Instagram. Braves 25 is presented by Cleveland Ford. Honest people, honest deals.
Do you suffer from unsightly leg veins? Are your legs turning brown or swelling? Do your legs feel heavy, tired, or achy? Do you have restless legs or leg cramps disturbing your sleep? These symptoms are signs of bad veins. Dr. James Gooden at Milligan Vein offers an office treatment that can make you look and feel better, and your procedure is covered by most insurance. Find more information online at milliganvein.com or call Dr. Gooden today at 423-961-5682 and get rid of those bad veins.
Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
Duracell in Cleveland is now hiring mechanical skilled technicians, $22 to $27 an hour. Excellent benefits beginning day one: medical, dental, vision insurance, paid vacation, holiday pay, 401k, tuition reimbursement, and more. Apply now at Duracell.com. That's Duracell.com. And I'm claiming that Duracell won a national championship in 1933.
Man,
Dispute it. Dispute it.
I mean,
talking about claiming titles, Slim Money.
you can claim them. You know, you can claim them. Michigan claims one that I think is illegitimate. So, you know, if Auburn wants to,
It'll be about 2024.
yeah. If Auburn wants to get in on the action,
2023. I mean,
you know, I'm you know, whatever.
I'm so glad
anybody can be a national champion.
I'm so glad you brought that back up, because I was reading some stuff yesterday and today. The USC Trojans, the 2004 national champs, had their championship. Reggie Bush had his Heisman taken away. They took away their national title. You know why? Because Reggie Bush alone, they didn't name any other players in this scandal. Reggie Bush had some things kind of given to him to come be a part of the USC program. The thing for me is Reggie Bush still went out there and performed and did his thing. He was gonna play somewhere, and granted, they cheated, and you're hearing this from a Notre Dame guy.
Against the rules.
It was against the rules, and I can't stand USC. I'm just gonna paint it as clear as I can paint it. But they had a national title taken from them over one player getting some things. It was illegal. You're right, but Michigan literally basically had the other team's playbooks. The more I've thought of this, and I've thought about what Jacob said the other day, how passionate he is on the subject, why do those guys still have a national title? Why are we so afraid for consequence with this era of college football?
They shouldn't. And to be honest with you, I have a very logical argument there. So, like, Reggie Bush, right? He got some things, and, like, you know, but he went out and played the game. So that whole, like, well, they went out there and played the game camp. Why is play action one of the most effective plays in college? Or RPO. Why is RPO
because you don't know if the quarterback's going to keep it or pitch it
because you do not know.
Right.
You do not know what is coming. That is why the RPO has gone to what it is in today's game, because you don't know what's coming.
For everyone that might be curious, RPO is run pass option that the quarterback has.
Yes. So if you know what's coming, you have a competitive advantage to do better. Were they really good? Yes. Were they very talented? Yes. I will never look at them as national champions. I won't. There will never be a day and I think it's our duty as fans, if the NCAA is not going to do what they were supposed to do there, if the MLB is not going to do what they're supposed to do with the Astros, it's your duty as a fan to hold every Michigan fan accountable that what you've got hanging up in your stadium doesn't matter anything to you. You don't look at it as legitimate.
It's fake news.
It is. I mean, honestly. So I'm calling, if you're a Michigan fan, I'm sorry, go pat yourself on the back. You didn't cheat. Your team did. Like, I hate it for you.
Connor Stallions and Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh acts like he didn't know what was going on. He won't entertain questions about it anymore. That's a whole other story for another day.
It's crazy that he just got out of town all of a sudden. Like he's done everywhere, every other time it gets hot.
Won a title and hit the road.
Yeah, like
10-year show calls. Well, he's already serving a 4-year show calls, and this adds to it. I think he's got like 12 years left.
Yeah, so we can move on from this because the Big Ten decided to leak a 2018 playoff so that we would move on from this. But it clearly gets me all fired up because, again, Georgia had a really good team that year. There's lots of other teams that had a really good team that year that could have won a national championship.
So here's what we're talking about, in case you don't know. Today, Auburn decided they're going to claim national championships. Listen, to be totally honest with you, a lot of schools have claims to years that they're national champs, that even though the AP and the coaches may not have voted them as national champs, they claim it anyway. So here are the years. Auburn in 1910, Auburn 6-1. They're now national champs. By the way, the NCAA does not recognize Auburn in 1910. 1913, the NCAA does recognize Auburn, and Auburn now claims it. 1914, the NCAA records book does not recognize Auburn, but now Auburn does recognize 1914 as a national championship year. 1957, they were the AP national champs that year. Ohio State, by the way, on the other hand, they were the coaches poll national champs in 1957. 1958, Auburn is not recognized by the NCAA as national champs, but they are now claiming 1958 as a national championship year. As again, 1983. That was the year that Miami beat Nebraska. They won the national championship in the AP and the UPI. Auburn's now claiming that as well. 1993, Auburn's claiming that. Florida State was pretty much the consensus national champion.
Charlie Ward and that crew down there might have something to say about that.
2004, you're talking about USC. That one's been vacated by USC, but they were the consensus national champions. They throttled Oklahoma in that national championship game, but Auburn is now claiming 2004. Now, granted, Auburn was 13-0. Okay,
yeah,
they were just left out. It was a 2-team championship, and they were the. I
don't have as much of an issue with that one.
I don't have.
That was Cadillac Williams, 2004, right?
Yeah, and then 2010, Auburn, of course, won the national championship. Cam Newton, maybe the best season, one single season of any SEC quarterback ever for 1 year.
I think you're right.
2010, Cam Newton. But so those are the 9 national champions that Auburn now claims.
This is my sense, and I'm going to offend some Auburn fans. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead since I'm doing that. Iron Bowl, I'm going to offend some Alabama fans as well. The way I look at this and interpret this is, well, by gosh, if Bama's doing it, we're going to do it too.
Yeah, I mean, honestly.
That's pretty much what it is.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, state of Alabama.
But I love it. I think it's fun. Can you imagine living in that state today?
I know.
I mean, the Alabama fans are going nuts, and the Auburn fans are going, well, y'all been doing it for 50 years.
Yeah.
Let's talk about 1973.
Yeah, listen, 1973. My Fighting Irish before my time, clearly, but national champs 11-0 beat Alabama. By the way,
in the
Sugar Bowl, and Alabama claims a title. That's when you go look at banners on the campus down there in Tuscaloosa. They got the banner hanging. They celebrate it, and they lost. And they claim a national title that year. That's kind of a common sense one. Like, you know what? Even though these dummies over here gave it to us, let's not celebrate it too much.
And to be fair, 1973 was the last year the UPI handed out the national championship trophy before the bowl games. Alabama accepted it. They put it in their trophy case, and then they proceeded to go out on the Sugar Bowl turf and get beat by Notre Dame.
Yeah.
But the trophy was already in their trophy case.
That's kind of like Shooter McGavin stealing the gold jacket from Happy Gilmore.
I mean, honestly, I just got a funny text. Somebody said Jacob's crashing out on the drive. I think that's an awesome segment that we could implement.
Crashing out
on the drive. Like, if you got to have a 30-second rant about something, we'll hit a hotkey and crash out for a minute. Just let your emotions loose. Because I am Michigan is one of those for me. I did just have a crash out moment on the drive.
You said, you don't recognize Astros as a World Series champion. Let me ask you this: what about Louisville in 2013? Do you still basketball? The NCAA took that championship away from them.
Yeah, they did.
I recognize Louisville as national champs. because I don't think what they did was.
Can you just remind me? Did it give them a competitive advantage?
There was some. Rick Pitino was head coach. There was some inappropriate
academic stuff going on, recruiting stuff going on.
Yeah.
There was a lot.
Yeah, I mean
stuff like that.
No,
I'm like,
the answer is going to be no. Then I mean, again, to me, if
it's tainted.
Yes, it's a tainted.
Okay, let me ask you, what about like the steroid stuff? Barry Bonds, Mark McGuire, Roger Clemens, how do you feel about that?
The steroid era is an interesting conversation because we've talked about, like, I again, like, baseball's a little bit different for me. Yes, the steroids, like, were allowed Barry Bonds to hit the baseball, but baseball is one of the only sports that the offense doesn't start with the ball. And so, like, the batter has no idea what's coming. They still have to go out there and hit it. I don't know. That's a good one out there for argument. I acknowledge that Barry Bonds is the greatest player of all time, but I think there needs to be a star by his name that stated, like, this was during the steroid era.
Yeah, and speaking of baseball, real quick before we go to break, the Atlanta Braves last night, despite the comeback efforts from Michael Harris and Jurickson Profar, they ended up dropping Game 1 of the series to the Chi Sox, 13-9, and what a crazy game it was. Spencer Strider continues to struggle, only went 3 innings, 10 hits, 7 runs, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. And in a very candid post-game interview, Spencer Strider even said, and I quote directly, velocity is there, stuff is not competitive in the strike zone. He's just not getting the same movement. And that's something he's going to have to figure out over this offseason. The good thing is that the velocity's there. Braves were down 10-1, ended up scoring 4 in the 6th. Michael Harris continues to just go on an absolute tear. Went 4 for 4, actually got removed from the game so he could rest because we're getting beat up on so bad. Luke Williams came in to pitch, as a matter of fact. You got a position player coming in. And what do the Braves do? They go on a tear and get themselves right back in the game.
Mm-hmm. So premature exodus, and basically they waved the white flag a little too early, if you ask me.
Yes, Snit even said, little did I know we're going to get back in it. So one of those things, this offense is starting to click for the Bravos. Profar had a 2-home-run game with 3 hits. Olsen also a 3-hit game. Big night with the bats, just could not get it done tonight. Braves try to even the series against the Chi Sox. And, of course, the White Sox, the second worst team in Major League Baseball, so I like our odds. Bryce Elder on the mound. He's 5-9, taking on Shane Smith, who's 3-7. First pitch, 7:15 on Mix 104.1, and right here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, you'll have pre- and post-game coverage presented by Mountain View Nissan of Cleveland. With that, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Walker Valley head football coach Drew Akins.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
Now at Hardees, 2 hand-breaded chicken tender wraps are only $5. Mix and match your favorite flavors like buttermilk ranch, honey mustard, and spicy. Endless combinations start with 2 warm tortillas, each filled with 100% white meat, juicy on the inside, crispy on the outside, hand-breaded chicken tenders. Any 2 wraps, now just $5. Hardees, goodness in the making. These items only. Price and participation may vary. Tax not included. Visit restaurant for details.
When competition is fierce, sports injuries happen, and Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics is here to help. Saturday sports clinics are available at our Chattanooga and Cleveland offices from August 23rd through November 8th for the treatment of non-emergency orthopedic injuries like sprains, strains, and fractures. Doors open at 9 a.m., no appointment needed to be seen by our highly trained physicians and clinical staff. Saturday sports clinic dates are subject to change. Check sportmed.com for the latest information. That's sportmed.com.
Need cash? Check. Behind on bills? Check. Unexpected car repair, broken appliance, surprise vet bill? Check, and check. Time to check into Cash, your one-stop money shop. Check all the boxes all in one place. From payday loans to flex lines of credit, we've got solutions that move with you. The process is simple, quick, and designed to get you the help you need fast. If you've been approved, you can leave with cash in hand. Check Into Cash also offers check cashing, money orders, wire transfers, and even gift card buyback. Check your worries at the door and check into a store to apply. We have stores in the Chattanooga area, including Cleveland and Athens. Or visit checkintocash.com to get started today. check into cash. We fund today to make a better tomorrow. Subject to state regulations, eligibility, credit check, underwriting, and approval. Rates, restrictions, and fees apply. Visit the store for details. ESPN Cleveland 101.3 is powered by Duracell.
Cleveland Tire Center for over 45 years with the best name in tires: Bridgestone, Firestone, Goodyear, and Michelin. Northley Highway, Cleveland. Cleveland Tire Center with a name says it all.
Rock City and Ruby Falls are fun, but have you been down the Ocoee, camped at Harrison Bay, or on top of Fort Mountain? We are blessed with beautiful adventures all around us, and Honda Cleveland has the Honda to take you there. Hurry in for $5,000 off your choice of 25 Accord or CRV Hybrid. $5,000 off. Or choose 2.99% financing on Accord and CRV Hybrid. Either way, you'll see why KBB.com has named Honda America's best value brand. You can saddle up a new Ridgeline pickup too with financing as low as 0.99% for 60 months, and that'll save you hundreds in financing. Or if you need service, parts, and tires, at Honda Cleveland you can get the work done now and pay over time with up to 3 months interest-free, with no hard credit check and a 90% approval rate. You've got some exploring to do, and we've got your ticket to ride. Honda Cleveland, your car, your way, every day. I-75 exit 20, 1 mile east. Hope to see you soon.
Do your legs feel heavy, tired, or achy? Dr. James Gooden at Milligan Vein offers an office treatment that can make you look and feel better, and your procedure is covered by most insurance. Visit milliganvein.com or call Dr. Gooden today at 423-961-5682.
Men, when it comes to your health, don't cut corners. At Tennessee Valley Urology Center, they do men's health the right way. They believe in evidence-based treatments, honest conversations, and care that's tailored to you, not cookie-cutter solution. Call or visit tnvalleyurology.com to book your appointment today.
Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
Welcome back to The Drive here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. When it comes to Mayfield Dairy Ice Cream, you'll never have a boring bite. Their limited edition ice creams include cherry chocolate chip and banana pudding. They're inspired by traditional Southern recipes and seasonal favorites. Pick some up today at your local grocery store. Learn more at MayfieldDairy.com. Of course, we appreciate Mayfield Dairy and all their coverage that they help provide when it comes to our Atlanta Braves, which, again, 7:15 first pitch tonight, coming up right here on ESPN Cleveland, the pregame show, and be able to catch the game on Mix as well, Mix 104.1. But now it is Walker Valley Day here on The Drive, and we've got Walker Valley head football coach Drew Akins. Coach, how you doing?
Hey, doing great, guys. How are y'all doing?
Doing good, man. Good to talk to you again. Talked to you about an hour and a half ago, and now we're back at it, dude. It's football time. I was saying earlier in the show, front door attack, knock, knock, football's here, baby. It's exciting.
No doubt, man. That's what I was telling my coaching staff earlier. I was like, man, I had an interview, and then we have varsity practice, and then I got an interview, and then I have youth league non-U practice, and then I have another interview tonight. So it's very obviously football season again.
Coach, tell our fans out there, the Walker Valley faithful out there, what to look for on Thursday night. Give us something that you feel like is going to excite the Walker Valley fan base.
Oh, man. Our guys have worked incredibly hard. It's been a long summer. I thought our summer went great. We had great attendance, and our guys worked hard. Summer is all about getting stronger and trying to keep them interested. The last 3 weeks, we played great opponents. We went up against Red Bank, who is going to be a real tough team in 4A, and then we went against Ringgold, which is a great program in North Georgia. And then last Friday against Farragut, which Coach Courtney's doing a great job at Farragut. So I feel like we've had a great camp preparing us for this season. But, when you look towards Thursday, I don't think it's going to take much to get excited about Thursday. It's a opening Friday night or Thursday night. It's a county rivalry game. It's guys that know each other playing on the field against each other. It shouldn't take much to get excited about Friday night. So I know our guys have had a great week, and they're really fired up to get on a football field against somebody in a different color in a game that means something.
Coach, we talked about, a couple different things on the show, but one of the statements that you made was creating a culture that kids want to stick around and be a part of. Kind of talk about your culture that's grown this offseason and who the leaders we're going to be looking at on Thursday night this week, but Friday nights in the future.
Yeah, I think in the world that we live in today, it's very similar to college programs. We've talked about it a lot, honestly, on this program in the last couple of years. You've got to create a culture within your building that does a couple things. One, that keeps kids invested and interested in being there. But then also that's strong enough that when transfers come in, which is bound to happen, that the culture outweighs and teaches new guys how we act and how we behave in our program. So I think there's a lot to that question. But ultimately, man, our guys have done a great job buying in to what we preach. We preach the same stuff now for 7 years. We've kind of put a new spin on it, but ultimately we're all about being a disciplined football team, doing the right thing, doing what you're supposed to do, when you're supposed to do it, how it's supposed to be done. We talk about commitment, talk about toughness and effort, and then we talk about pride and everything that we do, and pride in Walker Valley High School and pride in our program. So it's something that we've built a culture here over the last 7 years that I hope is strong enough to withstand any of the movement, anything that goes against us. We're able to fight adversity because the mindset that we put in our kids.
We're chatting with Walker Valley head football coach Drew Akins. Of course, all high school football coverage here on ESPN Cleveland presented by Food City. Coach, one thing we talked about earlier in the show before you joined us was environments of all three local high schools, how everyone has a unique Friday night atmosphere. Of course, this week it's the ESPN Cleveland 101.3 community kickoff on a Thursday. So is there anything specific? We know the way the schedules kind of reset from last year. You guys played at Cleveland last year, and you kind of got to see the bells and the whistles. You got to see the flashing LED lights. You got to see all the different noise aspects that they have in that stadium and the things that they're proud of over there. Is there anything specific that you do to prepare your team for that type of environment?
Oh, man. I think ultimately we don't do anything particularly to prepare, but I do think we talk a lot just about the emotions of the game. Those things are all about creating emotion, creating an environment that emotions take over on either side. So, we talk a lot about not letting, the emotions of the game or the emotions of the atmosphere dictate the way we act on the field. It doesn't dictate, how we conduct ourselves. It doesn't dictate, the way we execute on offense and on defense. So, we play music at practice, so our kids it's not foreign to our program. And honestly, we've turned it up a little bit this week just in case, because we do know how loud that can be. But ultimately, it is an emotional game, and you have to find a way to play emotional and play with passion, but not let that emotion and passion control your actions. Because when you get that emotional, you make mistakes. So that's ultimately what we talk about, is trying to make sure that we control ourselves and that we do what we coach to do while still playing with great passion and effort.
Coach, I'm so glad you brought up that you're playing music, because we got in a little bit of disagreement here earlier on the show. I want your opinion, and it doesn't matter. We know what the rules are. Your opinion, should bands be allowed to play while the offense is trying to call plays?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. I've been outvoted 3-1 now. I've been outvoted 3-1.
Jim's talking to the head coach of the Walker Valley Mustangs, and everyone knows the impact that Walker Valley band has.
That's true. That's true. But I know, in college you can't do it, but I just think artificial noisemakers should not be allowed while the teams are trying to call plays. But that's just I'm in the minority, and I get it.
Yeah, here's what I think. I think, those kids work really hard, and I know that sounds silly, but, man, I'm telling you, during that week or the month of July, our band outworks us, and there's no doubt in my mind. They're here, from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. They're working on a show. They're working on Stan's tunes. They're working on all this stuff. And that group of kids deserves to be able to put on a show and impact the game. I played against Walker Valley when I was at Red Bank. I played against Walker Valley when I was at Ottawa, and I promise you, I will tell you this, I have never seen a band impact the game like the Walker Valley band impacted the game when I was at Red Bank. They absolutely caused confusion and caused it a difficulty, and I'll tell you, it's a weapon for us. When you put that band in the end zone and you're down there in that end zone and you're trying to come out from that end zone and that band's playing loud behind your head, it is definitely a weapon that if the Tito display allows it, then I'm all for it. So we've been told multiple times we got to cut it out, and we'll look up the rule. We have the rule on hand to show that we don't have to stop playing.
That's called being prepared is what that is. Hey, one thing that I do want to talk about when it comes to preparation, obviously it's well documented. You and Chris Brown go way back. You coached together at Red Bank. You coached together at Ottawa. When it comes to this game Thursday night, obviously first year of his tenure at Cleveland, how much of a chess match is it going to be between you guys with tendencies?
I do think there's an element to that because we do know each other so well. I mean, me and Chris Brown sat in the office together from 2013 until 2015. We shared an office. We both had a desk in there. And every single day we would spend an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours on a whiteboard just talking ball and talking about how, the offense can win versus a defense on the board. And, I think because of that, you learn a lot about each other, about what each other wants to do and what the priorities are. He knows those things about me. I know those things about him. I do think, over the last 7 years, we haven't been together. We haven't seen each other evolve. Chris Brown at Baylor evolved into a totally different defense than he was running at Red Bank. Quite honestly, I have evolved as an offensive play caller and offensive coordinator over the last 7 years, and we do totally different things than we did when I was at Ottawa and Red Bank. But ultimately, it's definitely two coaches that know each other really well. That know what we're trying to accomplish and trying to get our kids to do the right thing throughout. But it's going to be a lot of fun, man. I truly love Chris Brown. He's one of my best friends in the world. We talk daily, whether it be via text or on the phone. We call each other and ask questions about this head coaching job that's so tough sometimes. So what I'm most looking forward to is going and competing against him and then walking across the field no matter what the scoreboard says and hugging his neck and telling him I love him. And then we're cheering for each other the rest of the way.
Coach, another thing we know this game, as you said, it's going to be filled with emotions. And you talk about adding a different dynamic to those emotions. I'm sitting here looking at your starter list for this Thursday, and Chase Stevens at quarterback and Sawyer Boyd at wide receiver. Very notable, they came from Cleveland. What type of emotions are going through those two guys' heads right now? Because this is a game right out of the gate that you're playing the team where you came from.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most difficult things that we're going to have to battle this week, on both sides. I think there's kids there that stayed there that are definitely going to battle the emotions of playing against guys that they practiced against last year. I think the guys on our side are going to battle those emotions of wanting to prove that they came here and that they have an opportunity to compete against their old high school. I think those are the emotions that we're going to have to, as a coaching staff, make sure that we control. I mean, it's something that we've got to watch those things. Got to make sure our kids are not playing out of emotion, but within our system. So it's something we've definitely had a conversation with. We got 5 starters that played for Cleveland last year that are starting for us this year. And listen, it's the world we live in. It's the world we're going to live in. So it's definitely something that's going to have to be talked about and something that we're going to have to put in front of our guys, and they have to be disciplined enough to make good decisions when they're on the field.
Well, Coach, man, I tell you what, we're excited about being out there Thursday, and I know that what are you going to do when you first wake up Thursday morning? What's your go-to first thing you're going to do? Don't go too personal. Don't be too personal, but you know.
Yeah. Thursday morning, typically, you know, on Fridays it's a little different because on Fridays you have a routine. With it being Thursday, you're kind of out of routine. Typically, I try to take my daughter to school. Normally, I don't get to do that, but Friday or Thursdays, or game days, I typically try to take my daughter to school. We'll stop and get some Chick-fil-A because that's probably the only meal that I'll eat all day. So if I don't do it first thing in the morning, I probably won't eat the rest of the day.
Got to get a little nourishment, little Lord's chicken there.
Yeah, trying to get something on my stomach, and then man, it really is just trying to keep a routine through the day, making sure call sheets are ready, making sure depth charts, special team depth charts, all those things that you need to have for a game are ready to go, and then ultimately making sure your kids have a routine so they feel comfortable going into a game. You know, when you get on the bus, when you do this, when you do that, all that is stuff that I find peace in. So having a good plan and making sure we're ready to execute that plan means a lot to me. So that's my typical Thursday game day routine is making sure that I'm ready and our teams are ready to go play.
Coach, last thing I've got for you, I want to go to the defensive side of the ball for a second. A guy that we saw really have an impact is Braylon Beard. If you could talk about what he means to your defense.
Yeah, Braylon's a great player, you know, and he's played for 2 years, you know, 2 years for us, been 1 year as a starter. And, man, he is a quiet kid. But I'll tell you, last week at Farragut, we kind of had a dead start to the game. And we were looking for some energy, and Braylon always seems to provide that. He plays so fast at the linebacker. He's all over the field, and ultimately we kind of go as he goes. So having him on the field again this year as a junior, starting for us again at Mike, it's going to be a really important thing for us to rally behind him and for him to play with great energy and effort. And when he does that, we typically play really well on defense.
Well, Coach, we're super excited to talk to you today. We will see you Thursday afternoon. Me and Jim are going to be on the call for Oldies, and it's going to be covered literally across every platform that we have here at the station. So super excited for football to kick off.
Absolutely, guys. I always appreciate it. Glad we're back. Glad we're back in this routine, man. I look forward to talking to y'all every week.
All right, appreciate you, Coach.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks.
You too. Once again, Walker Valley head football coach Drew Akins. All of our high school football coverage presented by Food City. And that between the interview yesterday with Coach Brown, the interview today with Coach Akins, you've got to be fired up for what's about to take place Thursday night over at Benny Monroe Stadium for the ESPN Cleveland 101.3 community kickoff.
I wonder how Coach felt about the Walker Valley band when he was on the opposing side.
It's frustrating. It's frustrating.
Listen, I get it. It is a weapon. Now, I'll say this. I don't think that the Walker Valley band has outworked the Walker Valley football team. I think it maybe worked as hard.
They've put the time in, but
they put the time in.
I think he was making more of a reference about how much time they spend because they don't have regulations like football does. So they're out there from 8 in the morning until 6 o'clock at night working on that show.
Yeah, they
during
do.
that month of July.
But I never see them in the weight rooms, man. Come on.
Hey, those tuba players look buff.
Hey, listen. One of our band members does a little work here for the station. Our guy Gavin Strickland, I like to call him Roll Tide, big Alabama fan. We're gonna have to ask him about that weight room routine.
That's about those Auburn National Championships too, right?
Yeah, that's right. He'll have something to say. Hey, one thing before we go, I do want to hit on this couple of things. Jim, you can mention the Ohio State job that just was filled, QB1 position.
Yeah, Julian Sayin, of course, he's a 5-star. He signed with Alabama. He was there for 2 weeks. After Saban announced his retirement, he immediately entered the transfer portal, and he was at Ohio State like within 48 to 72 hours, kind of like Caleb Downs. But no, so he's going to be starting against Texas. So that's a big decision making at Ohio State. I think the one thing about he's a little bit smaller than I like, but man, they say he can absolutely spin it, and he's very accurate with the ball. So we'll see.
And of course, all these QB1s being named currently, a lot of them actually happening today. Bear Bachmeier named the first ever true freshman starting quarterback at BYU.
Yeah.
So that's a storied program that's had some pretty good quarterbacks over the years.
And Carr has the keys at Notre Dame.
He sure does. Notre
like
Dame.
That little play on words.
They did. They named C.J. Carr, of course, the grandson of longtime Michigan head coach Lloyd Carr. His grandson said, I want to be Irish. I want to wear green, and went to South Bend and is actually going to be QB1 this year, and there's a lot of excitement there. Him and Kenny Minchie, there was a battle between those guys for that job. Both of them 4 stars coming out of their respected classes. C.J. Carr was actually the number 6 quarterback, or the number 6 overall player, I believe, in that quarterback class of
Michigan
24.
Really wanted him back.
They did, and he's a dual threat guy. He can run the football, very comparable to Riley Leonard last year.
Lloyd Carr's grandson, right?
Yes, Lloyd Carr's. So a lot going on. Of course, all this coming on the heels of Josh Heupel naming Joey Aguilar the Tennessee Vols starting quarterback, which, again, a lot of people kind of look at Joey Aguilar and didn't quite know who he was because you've not seen him in the prime time, but 6'4", 220, he looks the part.
Well, I'll be honest. I was watching some film on Nico today, just scrolling through TikTok and seeing some of the things that UT fans were frustrated by. I don't think you see that this guy likes to sling it. There was a play in the Ohio State game where Nico got himself in a really bad position. He was in a position where all he could do was run, not throw, and he had a guy streaking down the sideline open for 70. Joey's going to sling it, man. He may throw a pick every 1 out of 6, but he's going to sling it, and he's going to give your team an opportunity. I'm here to say, Vols fans, like, just watch out. Like, dude might be a player.
That receiver room's got to step up for him, though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions there. That's going to be the big thing for the Volunteers. But so much going on. We're talking about starting jobs. Hey, it's football season. We're excited.
It is here, man, and we are so pumped about Thursday, man. I can't wait.
With that, great interview today with Coach Akins. We got Jim a little riled up.
The band's cheating.
As I turn up the music over his voice,
Jim is about.
I can't hear my.
He's about to be getting the emails and text messages pouring in. You've been listening to The Drive on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Have a great day, everybody.
It's time for a Don Ledford of Cleveland traffic update on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Don Ledford Chevrolet Buick GMC, located on North Lee Highway in Cleveland, or visit donledford.com for details. Don Ledford, where we say yes. It's on-time traffic with Commander Chuck.
Good afternoon. We have seen a couple of wrecks out here the last few minutes now. It's starting to get heavier on 75, especially south of Chattanooga, down through parts of Catoosa County. There's been a little bit of radar down through there earlier, all the way down to Dalton. As you head through Whitfield County, 75 also had its share radar earlier up towards the Cleveland, Bradley County area. Happy Hemp Pharmacy now open at their new location. They're on Cummings Highway out there in Lookout Valley. They're right next to that Walmart. Go see them tonight at Happy Hemp Pharmacy. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
From the Alon Planning Partners Weather Center, here's your forecast on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Visit them online at alonplanning.com or give them a call at 423-315-1441.
By this afternoon, we'll bounce back into the low to mid 90s with the heat index as high as 100. So, yeah, it's going to be another hot day, and there will be the chance for a few pop-up showers and storms, especially south and east of Chattanooga. Tonight, we'll have overnight lows in the 70s with quiet conditions, and tomorrow, hot again in the 90s with a better chance of scattered storms. For the latest, download the Local 3 weather app. I'm Storm Alert meteorologist Clay Smith.
Your current Milligan Vane temperature is 90 degrees. MilliganVane.com.
The difference between an average morning and a Hardee's morning is hearty goodness that lasts till lunchtime. Like Hardee's smoked sausage biscuit, split Hillshire Farm smoked sausage on a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit. And our Frisco breakfast sandwich with cherrywood smoked bacon or ham on toasted sourdough. Hardee's, goodness in the making. Download the app and join my rewards for special offers. Available for a limited time at participating restaurants.
When you need a new roof, it's all about trust. Your home is too big an investment and you can't afford to make a mistake. Cleveland Plywood has the products and expertise you're looking for. Contractors have trusted them for over 50 years, and they carry only proven products from reputable suppliers like IKO. IKO Cambridge is one of the heaviest weight asphalt shingles you can buy, and their limited warranties are among the industry's best. Protect the investment you've made in your home. Go with the pros at Cleveland Plywood, 2700 20th Street Northeast in Cleveland. Call 472-3357.
When competition is fierce, sports injuries happen, and Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics is here to help. Saturday sports clinics are available at our Chattanooga and Cleveland offices from August 23rd through November 8th for the treatment of non-emergency orthopedic injuries like sprains, strains, and fractures. Doors open at 9 a.m., no appointment needed to be seen by our highly trained physicians and clinical staff. Saturday sports clinic dates are subject to change. Check sportmed.com for the latest information. That's sportmed.com.
For a quarter of a century, Mix 1041 has been taking you out to the ball game.
Swanson to first. The Browns are world champions.
Since 2000, Mix 1041 has been the home of the Atlanta Braves, and we're celebrating by giving away tickets to Atlanta Braves games all summer long. Listen for your chance to call or text to qualify. You can also register at the Mix socials on Facebook and Instagram. Braves 25 is presented by Cleveland Ford. Honest people, honest deals.
Cleveland Tire Center, locally owned and operated for over 45 years. Cleveland Tire, your one-stop auto care shop in Cleveland. North Lee Highway, where the name says it all.
This is Thomas Williams with Mountain View Nissan of Cleveland. Stop by today and take advantage of Bradley County's largest pre-owned inventory, or visit cleveland-nissan.com, home of the lifetime warranty.
From the Kia of Cleveland studios, this is ESPN Cleveland 1013, WCLE HD2 Cleveland, W267BI Cleveland, ESPN Cleveland 1013.
The top of the hour is presented by Best Buy Metals, making the top of your house the best it can be. Visit bestbuymetalroofing.com.
Quickly. He doesn't want answers. He needs answers.
Yes.
Because what he does in the offseason is going to be predicated upon maybe what he learns in the next 5 weeks, and he's not going to learn it sitting. As long as there's not a chance he's hurt or he's hurting himself, I think he's going to pitch because he and the team want him to figure out as much as he can, and hopefully, again, we'll say it now with one less start in the books, 5+ weeks of, is there something in there that can be pulled out that his offseason then becomes better than it would be if it started today? And that's what he's looking for. I don't want to say wants. I think it's a little bit further than that.
Yeah.
I think with his personality, he needs an answer or two. And again, whether it's tipping or whether it's, again, it's a dirty word, he doesn't want to use it. Whether there's something going on, it's horizontal, it's vertical, it's whatever it might be, too many pitches down the heart of the plate. I know that when I looked at him in 23, I was amazed at his presence. I was amazed at the pitch and catch of it. I was amazed that there was no emotion involved. I was amazed he didn't kick dirt. He didn't walk around. He didn't go for a rosin back. Quite honestly, relative to that year, he's doing all of that. He had a moment where he stepped off the mound where I think he was waiting for a visitor. Something was going on. And it just had that, we call it the 1,000-mile stare, where, and then after he got taken out, my partner here in town said the same thing. When he was taken out, same thing. He's looking out into the world, and you go, I don't know what he's seeing, but you don't see this look on a guy who's going well.
No.
And this is all sort of new to him in that regard. I'm going to tell you, here's the last thing. I don't know what the brace surgery does compared to Tommy John surgery because we don't have enough evidence on it. There's not enough cases in the books. He could be a test case, and I just hope it doesn't end the way that it's going right now, where if you go, if given a choice, maybe you want to go get Tommy John. And I'm not telling you I'm anything close to coming to that conclusion.
Right.
But there might be somewhere down the road, 2, 3, 5 years from now where you go, you know, that brace thing, it wasn't as good or as effective as the Tommy John surgery itself. So you hate to be a test case in that world, but he might end up being that.
He is. So is Sandy Alcantara. So Lucas Giolito was one of those guys, too. Snit refers to Sandy Alcantara a lot when talking about the internal bracer. He calls him the kid in Florida. Sandy Alcantara is not a kid. But he had to go through the same thing, and he was terrible early in the season and did get right for a little while. Spencer's kind of going the other direction, and I think it's – I looked at some of these numbers, and, you know, early in the season when Spencer was back – it was about his fastball. Is he going to get that 99, 100-mile-an-hour fastball back? And it's not there. But what's interesting to me is that the last 3 starts, 10 hits last time, 8 earned runs the time before, 11 hits the time before that. Those are the 3 fastest fastball averages he's had this season. I know it doesn't mean anything,
Well,
but
not
it's
to
still
these guys.
odd.
Not to guys at this level.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm sitting on it and you're going to throw it fat, I'm going to hit it. If you're vertical or you're horizontal, which is, again, what I'm reading about last night and then this morning again, now they're looking at those measurements and going, if it doesn't have this and it doesn't have that, then he's pedestrian or he's another guy.
Yeah, just a guy.
The idea that 2 years after what he did in 2023, he's just another guy is, I don't want to say unfathomable because I'm the one who tells you that these guys, they're all prone to ups and downs, peaks, valleys. Can you sustain, maintain? Can you be a guy who has health and then also pitches at a very high level? It's really hard to do. We're finding that out with him now. And I hate to do this because it's not about the money until it's about the money. His big number kicks in next year at $20 million. So I think all parties would like an answer. And again, as long as he's not looking where he could hurt himself, you've got to get him something that he goes, I got that one, I'm okay. I'm looking for this one, but I got 5 weeks to find it. That's what I think part of this is right now.
He referenced yesterday, and he's done it a couple times now, how he's not getting the illusion of the ball rising. That was the biggest thing to him, and part of that was him releasing the ball so close to home plate.
The ball flew out of his hands.
Yeah.
If you look, I looked last night. I texted Tom Glavine during the game. He's calling the game. There was just something where the ball exploded out of his hands, and there was no bleeding. His left leg, it was sort of amazing to watch. He was a minimalist. There was nothing going on except release, pop, pow, boom, give me another baseball. And now it doesn't look like that. I call it bleeding. It just looks like he's moving a little bit after a pitch. He knows it's not coming out.